Hello and welcome back to the diner for this edition of Burgers and Fries. So folks, it is November 9th as of this recording, so the election of 2024 is basically 1 year away.
November 5th next year.
That's right. So we're basically at a good speculation that might welcome this, but I think a lot of people are just groaning at the fact that it's most likely going to be Trump versus Biden, the rematch. What do you guys think about it?
Are you surprised, really, dude? Are you that surprised?
I just want Biden out of the White House.
Okay. So we will get to a little portion where we're going to jib or jab back and forth off of, who's the most evil or whatever. Representing the side of Trump, the Minnesota man who is not riding with Biden, that's you, Greg.
Hello.
And on the opposing side, in the blue corner, the Indiana ginger man, whom if you looked up Trump derangement syndrome, it would say, "See Tony."
Hello. Hello there.
Let's preface this, all right? Like I said, it's November 2023. A lot can happen between now and Election Day 2024, especially because of what's been going on with Trump and the legal system. So all these opinion polls that are going around don't really have much merit, and they really don't mean anything until the day of the actual election. You guys agree on that?
Yeah.
Correct.
So we'll just briefly talk about 2016. I remember everybody thought, oh, Hillary Clinton's leading in the polls. She's going to win by a landslide. There's no way they're going to elect a reality TV star and business mogul to office. And look what happened.
Yes. Yes.
So, and I remember thinking with 2020, there's no way they're going to vote in rambling Joe Biden in the office. The dude barely campaigns. He hides behind, and whenever he does publicly speak, it's incoherent, versus Trump, who draws tens of thousands of people wherever he goes, and we all know how that night went.
Yeah, I'll never forget. Oh, the election was stolen. Trump won fair and square, and Trump was the winner, not Biden. This country sucks. President Trump, if you hear us, please save us. All those MAGA videos are coming out.
Well, I remember that particular night, you sent me a message, and like 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night, going, well, looks like, just like you said, Anthony, looks like we're going to have another 4 years of Trump. And then, of course, what happened in the middle of the night happened. And look, we have to acknowledge that, yes, there's lots of people still convinced that Joe Biden did not win legitimately, but we're not going to get too deep into that. Let's just say for this podcast episode's sake, the election was won fair and square. Let's just say there was no proof of fraud and that Joe Biden was the most popularly elected president in history. Okay? That's as far as we're going to go.
Okay.
But it's still obvious that the 2020 election, when it happened, it really wasn't people voting for Biden. They were just voting against Trump, right?
Right.
It's 2023 now. Now people have had a few years under Biden's presidency and remember a Trump presidency. So as it seems to turn out, where do you think more people want to vote now, Tony?
There are quite a few people I know who still want to vote for Biden, especially because Democrats won 3 states: Ohio, Kentucky, and Virginia.
Okay, you mean in the 2020 election?
For this one.
Okay, those are some key battleground states. But in other key battleground states, according to this New York Times poll, Trump is ahead of Biden by 10 points in Nevada, 6 in Georgia, 5 in Arizona, 4 in Pennsylvania, 5 in Michigan. So there's 5 key battleground states. There's more key battleground states that are actually more in favor of Trump now.
That could change, though.
Of course it can, but we're talking about what people are talking about now. You can find a lot of these national polls on 538. Many of them have Trump up by 3 to 8 points, and any of the polls, if there are any polls that show Biden is ahead, he's only squeaking by maybe 1 point.
Oh, yeah.
So does this surprise you, Tony?
It does. Because
why does it surprise you?
people did not want Trump back because of how much of an asshole he was and stuff like that.
Tony, you know that under Trump and all that, the economy was doing much better than what Brandon is doing now.
And I think that's why a lot of people are kind of nostalgic for that. And again, this isn't Trump at the height of his popularity or his powers, all right? These polls that are going on right now are not talking about Trump in 2019. This is Trump under 92 federal indictments. This is Trump after 8 years of the media before, during, and after his presidency from both political parties, independents, and the media, popular figures, and millions of people shitting on him. And he's still up in these key battleground states.
Unless he's found guilty for what happened on January 6th, which a friend of mine who I know in person says it's going to happen.
And Tony, there was new footage of whatever happened on January 6th, right?
Nope, don't care to, because I saw what those Republicans did, and I'm surprised by a lot of them are not in jail.
So you saw the fact that they were let in?
I didn't see that.
They were let in the Capitol. They were practically welcomed inside the Capitol.
I did not see that. I saw.
Of course you didn't. I'm not saying that there wasn't any violence outside the Capitol or whatever, but there was plenty of footage showing that these people were practically peacefully let in. All right, there's plenty of footage now showing like that shaman guy wasn't doing any vandalism. He was just in there praying, and yet that guy got what he got in terms of a prison sentence. Okay, what did you think, Tony, about all the pro-Hamas people that stormed the Capitol and did a ceasefire protest inside the fucking Capitol? What do you think about that?
What are you talking about?
This just happened, Tony, where you have a group of pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas people going inside the Capitol.
I didn't know about that.
Of course you didn't know about that.
What do you mean, of course I didn't know about it?
Because that's the things that Greg and I are trying to point out, is we think all politicians are crooks, but we also, from the outside looking in, think, wow, one side always seems to be getting the blame or being held accountable, but the other side doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
And that's something that we're against. If Trump is a crook, then so is Biden. It's plain and simple.
Yep.
And you're right, Tony. They haven't officially decided that they want Trump back yet, because it hasn't happened on November 5th, 2024. But still, you ask a lot of Americans now, they're either going to say, I'll take Trump back, or they're probably just choosing not to vote on this upcoming cycle. And you want to know what's really funny, Tony?
What?
These same polls found that, quote, generic Democrat running against Trump would still win in those same battleground states we just listed. People would rather vote for an NPC than, something that they've made up in their minds versus Joe Biden for the next election cycle.
At this point, an AI bot could run the country better.
I doubt that too, because we've seen Terminator, right?
Yeah, but that's the movie, though.
But it's hilarious. Trump versus Biden. Oh, I'm definitely voting Trump. Okay, Trump versus any other generic Democrat. Which Democrat? Anyone. Okay, what? Anybody that I've made up. They'd vote for that guy. They'd vote for an NPC over fucking Biden.
Mm-hmm.
We can agree that usually the younger voters favor the Democrats. Okay.
And don't forget those migrants too.
Illegal or illegal?
Both could.
Well, illegals are not supposed to be voting.
Well, they could make them legal citizens and then they'll vote.
Would you support that?
If they were legal. If they were legal.
If you would support illegal citizens voting?
No, if they were legal, not illegal.
Legal's fine. If you're a legal citizen, vote for whoever the fuck you want.
That's what I
don't care.
If they're legal, I mean.
But But you've also mentioned, but they could make it so that illegals could vote. You'd support that?
I didn't say it. I'm just facing facts.
I'm asking you, would you support illegals voting?
No. There.
Okay.
No.
Thank you. All right. So Biden has lost favorability with young non-white voters. All right. In 2020, non-white under 45, Biden was up by 39 points. Now he's only up by 6. So there's a lot of non-white young voters that are saying, fuck Joe Biden. You ask white voters under 45, which is our category. In 2020, Biden was up by 5. Now Trump is up by 8 amongst young voters under 45 that are white.
Oh, yeah.
So the pendulum is shifting. The needle is shifting, and it's not shifting for Biden, Tony. If this doesn't indicate how terrible of a job that Biden is doing, then I don't know what is. If so many fucking people who voted for him are turning on him. Do you think that Trump was a brutally unpopular president?
He was not, in my eyes, he was only popular because of his tantrums.
Okay. But you still agree that he was a unpopular president.
Right.
Okay. Lots of Republicans loved Trump for the reasons that you listed. And at the same time, lots of Democrats and independents, they hated the guy. But with Biden now, it seems it's united on all fronts that everyone hates Joe Biden. And then what do you think Joe Biden's whole shtick is?
Well, one of the things he did, he raised the minimum wage, something that needed to be done, but that Trump would not do.
Oh, brother.
But after the minimum wage got raised, then what did the inflation do?
It got up, but
It went no. It went way further than the minimum wage. So your $15 is shit. So that's one thing, all right? So what's another selling point? Why would people want to vote for Biden?
well, he was not an asshole like Trump. Trump just kept
Boom. That's what I was getting at. So Biden's whole shtick is, I'm not Trump. That's the whole reason people would vote for him, because he's not Trump. And people who still defend him, like Biden has under 40% approval rating right now. More like 55 to 60% people disapprove of Biden. It's brutal, all right? So the people that still vote for Biden are just basically doing what you just said. Well, at least he's not Trump. And that only works when you have a pandemic health crisis to blame Trump on, which I know you do.
Yes. Yeah.
That's not gonna work when the guy that got elected has presided over an economy that's in the shitter, out of control inflation with prices of everything going up, terrible immigration policies, terrible handling of foreign wars.
And you know why they're letting all these immigrants in, so they can vote for them.
You don't support open borders. You don't support illegal immigrants coming in.
I didn't say I did.
So it's not looking good for your man Joe right now, Tony.
Keyword, right now.
Right, that's right, right now. I think, truthfully, the vast majority of Americans, they want neither of these guys back next term. Right?
Right.
Nobody wants Trump back. Nobody wants Biden back. All right?
Just want someone brand new.
Right. Somebody younger. Like, a lot of people are saying, look, these guys are too old. We don't want to vote for these geriatrics. Give us somebody younger.
Barack Obama was 47 when he took office.
So I would take a 47-year-old Barack Obama over an 80-year-old Biden. Of course I would.
How's Trump? Is Trump like 77 or something?
Yeah, Trump is pushing 80. So he's a lot older than he was back in 2016. All right? And if sure, he's probably a better communicator than Biden. We can give him that. But still, okay, we don't need these old farts in the office. And look, we agree. I mean, would you say, Tony, that Trump has a lot of fans?
No.
Yes, of course he does. If he didn't have a lot of fans, he wouldn't be attracting 10,000s of people wherever he goes. Good God, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
But you know who really doesn't have fans? Joe Biden. He had nobody really attend any of his rallies or any of his campaign stuff. And I would say that most of Biden's 81 million voters were pretty much pinching their noses like a dirty diaper was being held in front of their face. And they just voted for Biden anyway because, again, they didn't stand Trump. And once again, it's 2023. People are feeling nostalgic for 2019 when the economy was booming, when people were enjoying a rise in wages and record low unemployment, businesses growing. It's an average Joe thing where people are basically saying, well, in 2019, I was doing better, I was saving money, and that's when Trump was president. And here we are now, everything costs more, I can't afford to pay the bills, I've maxed out my credit cards, and Joe Biden is president. Fuck Joe Biden, I want Trump back. Like, that's what a lot of people are thinking, Tony. Regardless of how good of a president you think Trump was, really hard to defend Joe Biden right now.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, what would be a selling point? Why should people vote for Trump right now?
Well, during his presidency, he got the economy going up again.
How so?
Well, he immediately withdrew from the job-killing Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Okay, so there was a lot of stuff that was killing American jobs that he withdrew from. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
And there were tax cuts too, all right? Corporate tax cuts, wealthy tax cuts. So that meant that a lot with these taxes being cut, then that meant there's more money that can actually be used to create new jobs or raise people's wages on actual money versus government money. Now, Do you think, gentlemen, all right, were there any policies that either Trump caused or Biden caused that made this inflation get worse?
Well, Biden caused the inflation worse since he keeps on transporting money to countries we don't want to get involved with.
Right. When the US government gives your money away, they're both taking your taxes and spending it, but also inflating the cost of goods by stripping resources away and ripping the buying power from you. Would you guys also agree that fuel costs are basically causing the inflation?
Yes.
Something like fuel costs causes everything to go out of control because the cost of gas goes up. Then that means the cost of shipping and manufacturing goes up. Thus, that increases the cost of everything at the stores because they're trying to make their money back. It's always a series of things that trickle down, okay? Or in some cases, snowball down to what we are experiencing today, all right? So it's not just one thing, it's multiple things that occur. So somebody can say, oh no, it was Joe Biden canceling the Keystone Pipeline and, fucking with our oil supply to the point where we have to buy imported oil from other countries rather than make and supply our own. Sure, that's a fair argument. And if you're going to say, no, it's corporate greed because you have all these shortages and they're still doing record profits, I agree. That also is fucked up. Do you think that the basic American voter can pinpoint what exactly the cause is? Yes or no?
Honestly, no.
Okay. That's a fair thing to say.
They should probably get all the facts before they make an assumption. That's what I mean.
Sure. We do our best to get our facts, guys. Now, if you are listening to this mid-podcast and there's something that we said was wrong, please say it in the comment. We are open to criticism, all right? Because we're just trying to give out information that we have been presented with based off of what we have been looking up. So we're not saying that we're experts in this matter. We're just doing this for fun, and we're happy with people engaging and saying, you're wrong, you're right, or here's my opinion on it. Feel free, folks. So Tony is right. People should get their facts straight. But here's the thing. The American voter can say, for the past 3 years under Joe Biden, when everything was promised to get better, getting promised student loan forgiveness, all right, getting promised all this and that and the other thing, and all we get is Biden and his goons blaming Trump for the past 3 years when things have gotten worse under Biden's watch, well, of course Americans are going to say, well, fuck Joe Biden. I don't want to vote for the same guy that presided over things going to shit. Come on, guys. Even fast food is way up. All right. Have you heard that some places are paying $18 for a Big Mac meal?
I don't eat Big Mac.
Nope.
It's been happening. It's been featured on Yahoo. Like certain locations, people are paying $18 for a fucking Big Mac meal. Like if Donald Trump wants to appeal to the American people, he shouldn't be talking about the trade agreements and the stock markets. He's like, it was under your watch, Joe. The Big Macs were cheaper under my watch, and under your watch, they're $18, Joe. If I get elected president, then I'm gonna make the Big Mac price go down.
Ooh, boy. Wow. Must be impressed by that shit.
Well, a lot of people, that would resonate with them. And for people that say, oh, I don't eat McDonald's. Okay, what fast food do you eat? Because that's all gone up too.
Well, there's Taco Bell.
The Cheesy Gordita Crunch was only $3 under my watch, but now it's $5 under Joe Biden's watch.
Burger King still pretty cheap.
I'll get elected and I'll make the price of a Whopper go down. It'll be nice and glorious. It'll be beautiful, big beautiful wall of Whoppers.
Of course he gets it. He eats fast food. Trump eats fast food at McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't want to pay $18 for a Big Mac anymore.
He's thinking with his stomach. Trump's thinking with his stomach.
Now maybe I'm thinking with my stomach. But I mean, I went to Wiener Schnitzel the other day. I decided after I've lost 60 pounds. I've been eating healthy. I decided, all right, I'm going to gorge on Wiener Schnitzel, and it was $30 to get what I eat. So the next portion of this, we're going to basically have Greg take the side of Trump. We're going to have Tony take the side of Biden. But I'm going to be asking both of you, what are your stances on key issues? I'll start with Greg now. Greg, you tell me. You need to convince people. Why should people vote for Trump?
Well, for one thing, when he was in office, we never went to war and all that.
Oh, that's a good one. He actually helped end the Korean War. There were no new wars started under Trump. So why else should we vote for Trump?
Also, gas prices were down.
Okay. What else?
and there were more people getting back to work.
Okay.
Well, he also wants to have more security around the borders and all that for illegals to come in.
Under his presidency, it was really tough for illegals to come in. The border security was much better than it is now. Tony, just like Greg, he's trying to sell you on why you should vote for Trump. You need to sell me why should I vote for Biden, Tony?
Well, I already mentioned one of the reasons. He's a lot nicer than Trump. He's not a racist like Trump. He's not an asshole like Trump.
Not a racist, you say.
He doesn't.
So,
he doesn't.
No. Biden wasn't opposed to integrating schools because he said it would be a racial jungle.
Yes, he did say that.
Biden has said racist shit, dude. I asked you in the inflation one, or the midterms one, I asked you, Tony, name something racist that Donald Trump has said, and you couldn't. But we named you many things that Joe Biden has said that was racist. You have a problem voting for me or Trump, then you ain't black. Biden said that. Yeah, so your whole Biden's not racism argument is out of the window. Keep going.
He doesn't just favor to the rich. He favors to the middle class and the poor people too. Trump only favored the rich. According to Trump, if you didn't have a lot of money, you were considered a dumbass. That's why he always favored the rich people. That's the only people
Trump actually said that?
I believe it.
No. Did he actually say that?
He said something around those lines. Yes, along those lines. Not that exactly. He said something along those lines.
What's your proof of that?
I have five of my buddies who told me that stuff. My buddies who are
okay, based off of something that your buddies said. Okay, that's not an actual proof.
Well, maybe you saw how he talked down about poor people and stuff and everything like that.
No, I didn't. I don't remember him talking down about poor people. Greg, did he say anything bad about poor people?
No.
I don't remember.
Oh, I remember something else. Why? Because Trump would always have these tantrums when he didn't get his way. Like, remember when COVID hit? He ended a press conference early because they kept bombarding him with questions about COVID, and he just ended early because he couldn't take criticism, so he just ended it early.
Meanwhile, Biden is also one that usually leaves press conferences early. Like, he barely speaks at all. Usually it's his press secretary speaking for him.
I've seen him speak on ABC 7 News.
But when he speaks, you can barely understand the guy.
Yeah, Tony.
Sell me again. Why should I vote for Biden?
I just think he's a better person overall.
Prove it.
Okay. So the fact that he sniffs children doesn't bother you?
He doesn't sniff children. Where
yes, he fucking does. Yes, he fucking does.
And not to mention, Tony, he messed up his son big time. I mean, scratch that. Fucked up his son big time.
What did he do to Hunter?
Well, from 100 pointing out, the name he gave to his dad is Pedo Peter.
Hunter Biden gave Joe Biden that name?
Yes.
Really? Hunter Biden gave him that name?
Oh, yeah.
I've heard a lot of people call him Pedo Peter. Why would Hunter Biden call his own dad that?
Probably could have sexually molested him when he was a little boy.
Okay. Now, speaking of sexual harassment allegations, okay? Did you know, Tony, that Biden was under sexual harassment allegations in 2020?
Nope. I did not know that.
You didn't listen when Kamala Harris in the 2019 was saying, "I believe all of his accusers"?
No, I didn't even see that.
Because Me Too just went quiet about it.
Because they thought the ends would justify the means. Like, they were completely quiet about the Joe Biden allegations because they really wanted to get rid of Trump. So you're not really convincing me, Tony, about anything good that Joe Biden has done. I'm not saying that Trump is a saint. Like, yeah, he said some stupid shit on Twitter. He said rude and crude comments about things and people. I get that. But you're acting like Joe Biden is a total saint, and he isn't. Can you sell me on Joe Biden, Tony?
He's not a corrupt businessman like how Trump was. This guy knows about politics. He was Obama.
So he's a crook politician. No, he's not a crooked business. He's a crooked politician. This guy's been in office for how long, and he's done nothing? Yet somehow got richer? That's not a crooked politician?
Well, at least it's a politician, not a corrupt businessman running this.
Same thing. Crook is a crook. This is not going in your favor, Tony. Like, what the hell? And I know you don't want to list your reasons that you said in the 2022 midterm video, all right? And you know the reasons I'm talking about.
Do not bring those up.
Oh, I know.
Do it. Dare.
If I really have to, okay? But sorry, Tony, you really haven't really done much to sell, all right? I can agree that Trump is an asshole. I agree that Trump is not a great human being. In terms of the policies, in terms of things that he stood for, they tended to be more in line with my political beliefs. And that's what we're going to get to right now. So we're going to start now, guys. Tony, what is your stance on abortion?
That's a tough one because like I'm against abortion, but I can understand why certain people do it because 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 they don't have the money to have a kid or something like that and stuff. Because this is it kind of hits home for me because it's something that happened at work and
okay.
that's
now
that's
hold on. Now, do you think that abortion rights like Roe v. Wade should be nationwide?
No, it should not be. I remember now. Yeah, no, it shouldn't.
They should not be nationwide. Okay, so it should be left to the states, is what you're saying.
Yes. The
Okay.
government should have no control over that stuff. The government should have no control over anything we do with our lives.
Perfect. That's a good answer. I will accept that answer. Okay?
Thank you.
Greg, your thoughts, stances on abortion?
It's just that, sometimes you gotta ask yourself, did a kid ever ask to be born with a parent that doesn't really care for them or something? I can understand if something like financial issues, but why not just give the kid up for adoption or something like that?
Fair enough to say. Okay. And was there anything about the pro-life rally that you actually attended?
Well, as I do recall, that there was a lady that did speak there, and she said that, well, she felt guilty of doing the abortion after she was raped because after the abortion, she felt like there was an ad-bill about rape drop on her. I think when that ad-bill dropped on her is when she found out that the guy that raped her was released 2 months later.
He was released 2 months later?
Yes.
Jeez. That's sad. Okay, so do you think, Tony, that Joe Biden aligns more with what you think, or do you think he doesn't?
What was his opinion on it?
Joe Biden has said that he wants abortion rights to be nationwide, not left up to the states.
What does have it nationwide? How's that gonna?
In other words, abortion rules should be applied across the board nationwide, instead of whatever states decide. You just said earlier you'd rather leave it up to the states, or you'd rather have no government laws on it whatsoever. Right?
Right, but that's one.
So Joe Biden is saying the opposite. He's saying, no, I want government laws nationwide. Trump, on the other hand, is more in line with what you're saying. It's more supports exceptions in cases of rape, incest, or when the pregnancy is life-threatening. So in terms of abortion, guys, both of you align more with Trump. Now the next one. Immigration. Tony, you're saying you're for legal immigration, not illegal immigration, right?
Right.
Okay. You're for border security, not open borders, right?
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, who do you think supports open borders, Tony?
Biden?
Yes. That's why we have a fucking immigration border crisis, is because of this clown in office.
And Tony, we can send them over to you if you want us to.
They're not allowing Texas and southern states to enforce the laws as much. They're basically like, okay, you're in, and that's why they're busing them to liberal, rich neighborhoods. It's like, you said you wanted them here, you keep them. It's true. Like, look what happened when they bust a bunch of them to Martha's Vineyard, which is like one of the most rich places on the planet. That's where Barack Obama has a house. So, in terms of immigration, you do not side with Biden.
Okay, something they don't side with him on, but that's normal.
Those are big issues, dude. You complain about illegal immigration all the time.
Well, you want to know one thing I don't like about legal immigration?
What do you not like about illegal immigration?
They're coming in here and they're not learning our language. They want us to learn our language.
Again, what president is in favor of that?
Yeah.
Good. You didn't exactly. You just proved my point, dude. So, climate change. Okay, what are your stances on climate change?
I have no opinion on climate change. I don't know much about it, nor do I care to know much about it.
You don't care to know much about it. Do you think that human activity is a leading cause of climate change?
What do you mean?
In other words, are humans the reason why the climate is like the temperatures are rising because of human activity and human industry? Do you think that's the leading cause?
Let me guess. Biden says that.
Yes. Okay.
I never thought about it.
Okay. Donald Trump, he says it's one cause of climate change. So there's also other reasons that are causing climate change as well. So Tony, would you favor government regulation to combat climate change?
I don't think the government has control of climate change.
What if the government decided, okay, you're allowed to use this much petrol per week? Oh, you've used all your available gas. You can't use your car anymore. Would you be in favor of that?
No, but why would that wouldn't happen, would it?
Remember how we had COVID lockdowns? What if we have climate lockdowns? Sorry, there's too much CO2 in the atmosphere. Can't use your car today. Oh, can't use your AC, even though it's 100 degrees outside.
You think that's really going to happen?
It's very possible if you vote for certain people. So would you be in favor of that?
Not that, especially if it's hot.
Okay. Boom. So Trump favors market solutions over regulations. So in other words, Trump is okay with innovations and efforts to combat climate change, like through inventions to reduce the amount of CO2 or better machines that reduce the amount. All right, gentlemen, gun control, for it or against it?
Against it. Well, not to an extreme kind of way, but only for law-abiding citizens that have a permit or a license for it.
Okay. Tony, gun control, for or against it?
For it, because there's a lot of shootings going on in the country, and somebody to take control and stop this stuff going on.
So, Tony, if you took, are you okay with law-abiding citizens having guns?
Yeah, everyone should have the right to. There's people who have a right to own a gun to defend themselves from burglars and everything.
So, but you're in favor of more restrictions on law-abiding citizens having guns. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I am.
So if you do that, is that going to stop criminals from getting guns?
I believe so.
How so? Because criminals don't follow laws.
Well, they won't sell them the guns then.
Doesn't matter. You can still get a hold of them. And criminals are not going to follow laws. They're not going to do the legal way of getting a gun, but they can still get guns illegally.
Remember during this year, with the whole Tennessee shooting and the
the other.
Okay, that we agree. That person who shot up the Tennessee school should not have had a gun because of her mental state. All right. We understand, guys, that mentally ill people should not be anywhere near a firearm. Okay, but you should not be limiting firearms to people just because of this. Because if you limit firearms to people, that's just gonna encourage the criminals to keep getting them. And then they'll go to gun-free zones.
Oh, yeah.
So you be in favor of that, Tony?
Yeah, I'm sorry, because I feel like the more control we have with the gun, it'll reduce these shootings.
Okay. Well, thank you for being honest, all right? But here's the thing. It's already restrictive. People already do background checks. There's already a bunch of legal things people have to do to get their hands on a gun. Okay? So you say we need to do more of it.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. Education. Okay. We did a whole podcast on this one, Tony, in terms of woke school curriculums, where they're teaching about systemic racism and as well as sexuality and gender. Like you think that should be taught in schools?
Well, for me, maybe when you're 12 or 13, learn about like racism and stuff. I think that should be taught by 12 or 13, because I learned about homosexuality and stuff when I was 13 years old and stuff. I learned about all that stuff.
Okay, but in general, should they be teaching kindergartners about sexuality and gender?
Not kindergartners, but maybe middle school, junior high.
Okay. Should they be talking about should they be talking and encouraging kids to transition at young ages?
You mean be transgender?
At a young age.
No, but wait till they're in junior high. if you talk about that stuff.
So you're okay with minors transitioning at a certain age?
No. I'm okay with them learning about it when they're like in their teens or something like that. Like,
I'm okay. Look, and yes, I'm okay with sex ed being taught in high school. All right. So maybe not junior high. All right. But when these kids are 17, 18, I think that's fine. You can start bringing that stuff up, but not when they're in elementary school. Okay. Do you support? Okay. So do you support gender affirming care for minors?
What do you mean gender affirming care?
In other words, the things that they need to do to transition as a minor.
No, they're kids. They should live their life.
Okay, well, you know who supports gender-affirming care for minors?
Doesn't mean
Joe Biden.
Doesn't mean I like the son of a bitch. Doesn't mean I like Trump. It's the son of a bitch Trump.
But Trump aligns more with what you believe in. You don't have to like the guy. I don't like Trump, but he still doesn't believe in gender-affirming care. I don't believe in it either. So that's where I would side with.
And Tony,
the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
And Tony, you must know gender affirming care is just a soft term for saying mutilation.
I know what it is. I'm not stupid.
In terms of immigration, climate change, education. All right, that's 4-1. You align more with Trump. Why would you still vote for Biden?
I just don't like Trump because Trump's a huge asshole.
Oh, good God. He is an asshole, but you agree more with Trump than you do with Biden.
I just don't want him in office. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
But you'd rather have a guy you don't agree with in office.
Ay.
Yes, exactly. Ay. What the fuck do I got to do, Tony, to knock the sense into you?
Send him to NABLA.
Maybe not.
Or Trump Towers.
You wonder, Tony, why I call you things in private conversations over this. Like, because of this, all right? Well, I just don't like Trump. I don't like that certain people liked him and they were getting all over me on it. Like, and I ask you, Tony, give me something show me something good that Biden has done. Well, when Trump did this, no, I asked you, show me something about Biden. Well, Trump's no. Show me something. Give me something about Biden. Like, it was a fucking back and forth conversation that we had. But that's okay, and I think that's the point that I'm trying to make here is there's just lots of never Trumpers, all right? Even though they hate Joe Biden, okay, and I think slowly but surely you are gonna realize Joe Biden is not the saint that you make him out to be. But there's a lot of people that are just like Tony that just are absolute Trump derangement syndrome, will never vote for the guy, even though you agree with most of it that he stands for. And that's, unfortunately, millions of people. That's why Joe Biden got 81 million votes, is because of people like Tony.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel about that, Tony?
I have no feeling. It's just, the election's not even here yet. Ask me in a year.
You don't.
It'll be this. You'll have the same opinions in a year. I know that. You have not been able to list one good thing about Joe Biden in this presidency. You keep saying, "Oh, well, he's not an asshole like Trump. He's not this. He's not that. It's your whole fucking shtick is he's not Trump. Say something good about Biden, Tony."
I agree with him on the gun control thing. That's one good thing.
Oh, my brother.
But even you acknowledge that criminals are not going to follow laws, and that it's not going to make it any safer.
I'm just saying.
And Tony, you began bringing up Trump with the cages at the borders and all that. You know Obama did that before he did, right?
I did not know that.
Okay, and that's a whole other can of worms there. Okay, but fine. You voted for Biden because of the student loan forgiveness. Okay, you voted for Biden because you thought he was going to help combat the virus or combat COVID. Okay, I can understand people voting for Biden for those reasons, but time and time again, Tony, your whole reasons were, well, he's not an asshole. He's not Trump. And that, I think, is fucking stupid.
Well, I'm glad you're being honest with me.
Well, my opinion is right. I'm glad you're honest with me. Okay, that's why we're doing this discussion. But it's not just going to be me that thinks that that's stupid. You're going to have a lot of people in the comments that are going to think, who the hell is this guy? That is fucking stupid. Well, like I said, if this is gonna be the two motherfuckers that we have to vote for in the next election cycle, like I said, vote for who stands for what you stand for. All right? If you support the Ukraine wars and you support all the wars happening in foreign and you support money being sent, okay, vote for that. But if you're voting for no wars or no more intervention, vote for that. If anything, vote for what you think is going to help cause the price of gas to go down. Like, that's how I think. So with that said, our diner is closed.
Attention everyone, the diner is closed.
So on behalf of Greg and on behalf of Trump Derangement Syndrome Tony, all right, I'm Desert Couch 22. Thanks for listening.